Were you clever enough to read at 8 years old? Yes, said Tuppence. I read at 5 years old. Everybody could when I was young. I didn't know one even had to sort of learn. I mean, somebody would read stories aloud, and you liked them very much, and you remembered where the book went back on the shelf, and you were always allowed to take it out and have a look at it yourself. So you found you were reading it too, without bothering to learn to spell or anything like that. It wasn't so good later, because I've never been able to spell very well. And if somebody had taught me to spell when I was about 4 years old, I can see it would have been very good indeed. My father did teach me to do addition and subtraction, and multiplication. Of course, because he said the multiplication table was the most useful thing you could learn in life. And I learned long division, too. What a clever man he must have been, said Tommy. Well, I don't think he was especially clever, said Tuppence. But he was just very, very nice. Aren't we getting away from the point? Yes, we are, said Tuppence. Well, as I said, I thought of reading Androcles and the Lion again. It came in a book of stories about animals, I think, by Andrew Lang. Oh, I loved that. And there was a story about A Day in My Life at Eton by an Eton schoolboy. I can't think why I wanted to read that, but I did. It was one of my favourite books. And there were some stories from the classics. And there was Mrs. Molesworth, The Cuckoo Clock, Four Winds Farm. Well, that's all right, said Tommy. No need to give me a whole account of your literary triumphs in early youth. What I mean is, said Tuppence, that you can't get them nowadays. I mean, sometimes you get reprints of them, but they've usually been altered and have different pictures in them. Really, the other day I couldn't recognise Alice in Wonderland when I saw it. Then there are one or two of the old fairy books, pink, blue and yellow. And then, of course, lots of later ones which I'd enjoyed, lots of Stanley Waymans and things like that. There are quite a lot here left behind. All right, said Tommy, you were tempted. You felt it was a good buy. Yes, at least... What do you mean, a good buy? I mean B-U-Y, said Tommy. Oh, I thought you were going to leave the room and were saying goodbye to me. Not at all, said Tommy. I was deeply interested. Anyway, it was a good B-U-Y, and I got them very cheap, as I tell you, and here they all are, among our own books and others. And we've got such a terrible lot now of books, and the shelves we had made, I don't think they're going to be nearly enough. And what about your special sanctum? Is there room there for more books? No, there isn't, said Tommy. There's not going to be enough for my own. Dear, oh dear, said Tuppence. That's so like us. Do you think we might have to build on an extra room? No, said Tommy. We're going to economise. We said so the day before yesterday, do you remember? Well, that was the day before yesterday, said Tuppence. Time alters. What I'm going to do now is put in these shelves all the books I really can't bear to part with. And then we can look at the others and, well, there might be a children's hospital somewhere, and there might anyway be places which would like books. Or we could sell them, said Tommy. Well, I don't suppose they're the sort of books people would want to buy very much. I don't think there are any books of rare value or anything like that. Well, you never know your luck, said Tommy. Let's hope something out of print will fulfil some bookseller's long-felt want. In the meantime, said Tuppence, we have to put them into the shelves, and look inside them, of course, each time to see whether it's a book I do really want and I can really remember. I'm trying to get them roughly, well, you know what I mean, sort of sorted. I mean, adventure stories, fairy stories, children's stories, and those stories about schools, where the children were always very rich. L.T. Mead, I think. And some of the books we used to read to Deborah when she was small, too. How we all used to love Winnie the Pooh. And there was the Little Grey Hen, too. But I didn't care very much for that. I think you're tiring yourself, said Tommy. I think I should leave off what you're doing now. Well, perhaps I will, said Tuppence. But I think if I could just finish this side of the room, just get the books in here— Well, I'll help you, said Tommy. He came over, tilted the case so that the books fell out, gathered up armfuls of them, and went to the shelves and shoved them in. I'm putting the same-sized ones together. It looks neater, he said. Oh, I don't call that sorting, said Tuppence. Sorting enough to get on with. We can do more of that later. You know, make everything really nice. We'll sort it on some wet day when we can think of nothing else to do. Well, the trouble is we can always think of something else to do. Well, now, there's another 7 in there. Now then, there's only this top corner. Just bring me that wooden chair over there, will you? Are its legs strong enough for me to stand on it? And then I can put some on the top shelf. With some care he climbed on the chair. Tuppence lifted up to him an armful of books. He insinuated them with some care onto the top shelf.